So it's the morning after the night before in terms of Sunderland. Simon Grayson obviously dismissed within a quarter of an hour or so of last night's 3-3 draw with Bolton. Where do the club go next? That's what we're looking at the moment. All the suggestions are that we're going to have a caretaker manager in for Sunday's Teeswear derby at Middlesbrough. It's not a case that Grayson goes and there's a ready-made appointment ready to go now. So it looks like a caretaker manager, and all the signs pointing to Robbie Stockdale, that he will take charge of training for the rest of the week and then lead the side into action at the Riverside. Stockdale, under-23 boss at the moment. He presided over the Checkatrade Trophy campaign last season and this, so he does have some degree of managerial experience, and it's looking like he's going to be asked to hold the fort for the weekend. Billy McKinley probably helping out in some kind of a coaching capacity as well. Beyond that, well, obviously it's the international break after the weekend, so that gives Martin Bain a couple of weeks of grace to see where he wants to go in terms of a permanent appointment. Plenty of talk about Peter Reid and Kevin Phillips this morning, two figures with strong emotional ties to the Stadium of Light. Reid's been out of management for a long time, didn't really work for him in his last position at Leeds. Kevin Phillips obviously never been a top-level manager, although he does have coaching experience. But it's easy to see why either of them might excite a fan base that have grown understandably demoralised in the last few seasons. Beyond that, Aitor Karanka, an interesting name being mentioned, still hasn't worked since he was dismissed from Middlesbrough last season. Would he take over under the financial constraints and with the difficulties that there are? Time will tell on that one if that's the direction Sunderland decide to move in. Also talk of Nigel Pearson, who's obviously out of work at the moment as well. But we'll see where Martin Bain goes. He obviously found it very difficult to appoint a manager in the summer. Derek McInnes turned Sunderland down to stay at Aberdeen. You imagine it's not going to be that much easier this time around with Sunderland still in the bottom three. People have called it the impossible job. We'll see whether that turns out to be the case. Follow the Northern Echoes website through the rest of the day and leading up to the weekend for all the latest developments. And get in touch with us to let us know your thoughts, Sunderland supporters. Who do you want? What's the type of manager that needs to come in at the Stadium of Light to turn this around? And is it now an impossible situation unless Ellis Shaw can sell up and leave?